Hello learners, welcome to the 10th session of Teaching Aptitude. Continuing the last session that we had seen on the types of learners, today the fourth category is based on classroom learning styles. So we had already seen this, if you remember, the Neil Wark's learning model, where he had given us four types of learners. Here, based on classroom learning styles, there are actually only three types. Okay, so visual learners, of course, we had seen that. Auditory learners, we know that, and motor learners, we also know that. But these three categories also have types. So here you can see in the visual learners, we have verbalist and imagist. The verbalist focus on letters and words, whereas the imagist focus on pictures. So there's more detailed, types of learners. Then we have auditory learners. Here we have again two types, that is oral and oral. The oral ones, of course, learn by listening to others, but the oral ones learn by speaking or hearing to themselves. They either talk to themselves or they talk to others. So that's how they learn. And the motor learners understand by either one is big movements or the other one is small movements, like working with tools or performing small experiments. And in big movements we have an example, that is sports. Okay, so this is very crisp and clear. The next one is based on thinking styles. So of course we all think very differently, and thinking is how we react or interact or understand new information. Okay, so first is the reflective thinking. So reflective thinkers generally, they take a lot of time to understand the information, relate them to past experiences and knowledge, and they generally ask the question why. Okay, then we have creative thinkers. These people experiment with new ideas or possibilities. They brainstorm solutions and may come up with very new, unique, fresh designs that have not been considered. So these people, to sum up, they think out of the box. Okay, then there is the third category, which is of the practical thinkers. They apply the information to real world situation. They focus on practical and factual information, and new skills are directly applied to work or personal interests. Now, the fourth type is conceptual thinkers. They understand concepts and theories or principles behind a particular, working, and then they they explore the ideologies that have shaped into historical outcomes and grasp broader implications of these events on society and culture. They actually understand a broader picture before that applying that particular information to the real life world. The next style and our last one is based on listening skills. We have six types of listeners. One is the active listeners, who actually listen to work with feelings, emotions, and understand with depth. These are the perfect kind of listeners which do not exist. The second one is evaluative listener or a critical listener. This type of listener generally, evaluates the thoughts of the speaker and doesn't understand the true meaning. So, he understands the content. This particular listener, he or she understands the content, but not the intentions or feelings behind the information. They generally analyze the argument or assess the validity and evaluate the evidence or sources used to support the claims. Okay, then there are marginal listeners who only listen to the surface message. They are generally distracted and they they generally postpone the problem and the solution and everything. They would just are interested in the gossip and everything. They don't want to understand the depth of the message that you're giving. Then there are non-listeners, of course. They do not listen or just pretend to listen. Then we have appreciative listener as the fifth type, and this person listens for enjoyment. Okay, he focuses on the artistic expressions, the way the person is letting out information, and he doesn't analyze any facts or analysis. Okay, he or she doesn't want to do any analysis or want to gain anything from the message. He just simply listens for the entertainment. This generally happens when we are in a movie. We don't actually sometimes when it's our favorite actor or actress, we simply look at them. We don't understand what they are doing. We are not bothered if the acts that they are performing are good, what lesson the message the movie has. We simply watch the movie and come back home. So that is an appreciative listener. Then we have emphatic listener. So this particular person involves with the speaker emotionally. It is not just to comprehend speakers' words by understanding their feelings, by providing support and validation. These kind of listeners are generally, they get involved with the feelings and everything of the speaker. Now the last thing that we are going to do is the learning disorders. So of course ADHD, we have all heard about this, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. Now in this particular disorder, the person has very high amounts of energy and they find it tough to focus on a particular thing for a long time. They become restless. Okay, and generally such people have to avoid high calorie foods like sugar or something, because already they are so energetic. Okay, then we have dyslexia, when the person cannot read properly. We have seen Tare Zameen Par. Okay, then we have dyscalculia, which is problem with maths. We cannot, the numbers just jumble up. Then again is dysgraphia. Here we cannot write properly. Okay, the handwriting is very irregular. The size and shape of the letters are very improper. They're not, whenever we write in the same font. This particular thing, when people suffer with dysgraphia, they cannot hold the pencil correctly. Now the other phase is other disorder is dysphasia or aphasia. Here speaking or understanding language disorder. They don't generally find words to talk, or they cannot understand properly. So one in that particular, first is receptive and second is expressive. So receptive is when you are unable to understand language, but when you are unable to express or talk in a particular language, it is expressive. Okay, there is also alexithymia, which refers to difficulty or inability to recognize or describe one's own emotions. It makes it challenging for individuals to understand and express their feelings. Here we end our session, and thank you so much. See you for the next one.